Alright, we're recording. It's hard to see out here because of the bright sunshine. Anyway, I got cut off because my phone started vibrating and got a bunch of things that I didn't want anyway. I've heard a lot of complaints and arguments about the fourth stimulus package. People are worried that we're going to be having to pay for it. Yeah, in the end, you'll end up paying for it. So what? You pay for everything else anyway. You pay for Mitch McConnell to look down his nose at you while he does absolutely nothing for you. And you can tell he's not a happy man with all his billions of dollars. And you're also paying his salary. You're also paying for Israel. To bomb people and kill people, that comes from you, you know. And here we got something that will help you pay for your rent, feed you, feed your family, take your family to the doctor, take yourself to the doctor. You know, this is all going for you, so if you're going to pay for anything, pay for that. And that's my political commentary. Anyway, out on my walk. This is where I live. This is where I go on my walks every day. Not too exciting yet. What you see across the street there is the Mack truck lot. It's been there since I was a little kid. I remember walking around as a little kid seeing that lot over there. Lo and behold. It is still there. And yes, this is where I grew up. Moved away for 33 years, came back, and here I am again, and moving to New Mexico soon. The old Halls Mill Road. Incidentally, I learned recently, I grew up knowing about Halls Mill Road, where it is, where it went for then, but it used to be the thoroughfare from here to New Orleans before Highway 90, which Highway 90, while I was a young child, was the east-west highway that went through here all the way to Los Angeles, California, or was it, not Los Angeles, San Diego. Anyway, and then it became Interstate 10, which does go to Los Angeles, California, through here. What you're looking at over there is the old highway, the very old highway, and it's called Halls Mill Road here. Probably changed names a few times before it got to where it was going. And yeah, that's a closer look of the Mack truck lot, which has been there forever. I can't remember a time when that wasn't there. It's actually on both sides of the road. It's on this side too. But there's the main building over there, Gulf Coast Trucks. There's the old sign. That's the one I remember, the one over there across the road. Anyway, not too exciting yet. This is where I learned how to paint. Learned how to do everything, actually. I went to school here, learned how to read and write. Discovered that I love art. My third grade teacher was an artist, and she loved to encourage her kids to draw and paint. I'll never forget that day. It was a very exciting day for me. One of her favorite artists was Vincent van Gogh. She blew us away with these cards with, you know, Vincent van Gogh, not just him, Rembrandt, Leonardo da Vinci. The one that really grabbed me at the time was Vincent van Gogh. And still, yeah, to this day, I love Vincent. Always will. It's also where I fell in love with science fiction. I remember getting out of school one summer. I was 13 years old and didn't have anything to do, and we just moved into a new house, and my brothers and sisters were out doing their thing. I was all by myself, and then I'm thinking, well, we're walking distance from the library. So I walked to the library, went down there, went through some books. I found this book, Red Planet, had a rocket on it, and I was really into rockets. I loved rockets. I used to build rockets and all that. And saw that rocket on there, and I said, oh man, this is my kind of thing. It was Red Planet, Robert Heinlein. Checked it out. Well, I read it 3 times before I brought it back to the library. I really loved the book. Still do, actually. Anyway, and I started writing science fiction. Have some books out there, as some of you know. The first book I wrote was Trouble on the Red Planet, which became part of a series, The Incorrigible, Trouble on the Red Planet, and Trouble in Orion's Belt. I put it all in one volume, and you can get it under the heading of The Archaeologist. It's a story of Richard Serling. He's an archaeologist on assignment on Mars. His job was to study the ruins of Mars in the Cydonia region, where the infamous space on Mars is, and they discover artifacts and evidence of an ancient Martian civilization. It goes on from there, and that was the introduction of what I call the incorrigible, that goes into Trouble on the Red Planet, where they actually get to meet the Martians and get into lots of trouble, because that's what it's about. They develop a relationship with the Martians, and then some years later the Martians send them on a mission to Orion's Belt, and of course it's more trouble, and there you have Trouble in Orion's Belt. It's not that they like trouble, it's just it seems that trouble is wherever they go. And there you have that. And the next one I wrote was Lights Over Vicksburg, Elucidation, which is my pride and joy. It's a labor of love. A lot of research went into it. It has a lot of my anti-war sentiments built into the book. If you look at the title, you'll see, and it's obvious, it spells love, L-O-V-E, Lights Over Vicksburg, Elucidation. The subtitle is The Turan Curse, which is a very important part of the story, which is why it's the subtitle. The Turans were a race of people from a planet called Thura. And you don't get to meet them because they don't exist anymore. Their planet Thura exploded back in ancient times. And we now call it the asteroid belt. It's a region between Mars and Jupiter. That comes out in the book too. The reason why they exploded, why there is a Turan curse. If this sounds interesting, get the book and read it. And then there's Johnny Strongbow. Very proud of Johnny Strongbow. A lot of people call it my masterpiece. And after reviewing it, yes, I agree. I think it's one of my best works. It's a work of art. It's about a Native American who is in the FBI, who was sent to Mars to investigate corruption in the Martian colonies. And he finds a lot of criminal activity going on over there, and his number one job is to undermine the criminal activity and set the colonies back on track so they can live decent lives and not be hounded by these criminal elements that are there on the colonies. And through the course of this, he finds he's introduced to the old Martian spirits, the Martian elders, and that's the subtitle, the spirits of Mars, who are instrumental in helping him clean up Mars. And it's science fiction mixed in with, of course, mysticism, because you're dealing with spirits and ghosts and all kinds of neat little entities who are benign, by the way. They're not evil. The evil is in the flesh, and they're corrupt politicians and business people who cause problems on Mars. But don't worry, the hero, Johnny Strongbow, comes through and liberates Mars. There is an adage on the end which suggests the sequel, which hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for a response from people who read it and let me know whether it's worthy of a sequel, or whether I should expand my ideas and go further with them. Anyway, you're part of this adventure if you read my books. Great. If you're a writer, you want a readership, and I want people to read my books. Very much so. I want people all over the world to read my books, and I want people all over the world to know that I'm not going to promote war. I'm going to, with my books and my art, promote prosperity for individuals like me. And there you have it. Anyway, if I'm still recording, I'm about a quarter of the way through the first part of my work. The second part is when I go back home, which won't be recorded, but you'll see the whole distance if I don't run out of battery. Anyway, this is what I call my quarter mark, because it's a quarter of the way through. And it's an older part of Mobile, and yes, I used to walk around here when I was a kid. There's the old Trailways Bus Station, which has moved a few times. It was downtown Mobile. When I moved away from here, I came back, and here it is. It's over here now. The Greyhound Bus Station is about 2 miles over in the other direction, and it's on Highway 90 across from the Walmart. It was also downtown. The whole time I was growing up, I moved away for 33 years, and there it sits now, over there. Near the Whataburger, which is the old hamburger place. It's still there. Used to be owned by the famous Mel Tillis, country western singer, who I understand still lives here, retired, and doesn't own Whataburger anymore. Of course, I remember when I left here, he was in full swing and his daughter was making her debut. Anyway, that was a long time ago. Moved to the state of Washington, where I lived for a long time. A lot of memories over there. I worked many jobs over there. I started out working in nursing homes. Actually worked hard at it and got a license and got into in-home care and did my own jobs and started making a little money at it. Was unhappy with it. And was looking for something else to do, and I fell into traffic control flagging, which I stayed in for many years. Very dangerous job, well paying, and I was good at it. I was got a chance to work with some very good people, and we admired each other because we knew that we were out there for the most part risking our lives trying to make a living, and did a good job. And the whole time I was doing my artwork and writing. During this time is when I came up with a lot of inspiration. Now, a traffic control flagger is not always physically demanding. Sometimes it is, like most jobs. Most of the time you're standing there on the side of the road and trying to control traffic, and it gets horrific at times, but it's not very physical. It's very attentive. You've got to keep your mind active. The bonus of the job for me is and this happened a lot, I could work 18 hours in a day, and you know, and be tired at the end of the day, just like any job. But being not physically demanding most of the time, I was able to go home and unwind, have a cup of tea and sit down. And after an 18-hour day, I'd go to bed. And if I had time the next day, if I didn't have to work the next day, I was able to work on my writing because I'd recovered from the day before. And with these physically demanding jobs, that was more difficult. Anyway, you got that part of it. And a lot of my artwork can be found on fightartamerica.com. I'm wearing a shirt. I don't know if you can see that because I turned my phone around. And, this is a hoodie that I have of one of my self-portraits. And I can't see anything. Alright, yeah, I'm still going. Going down the line. Now this place here has been there forever also, like the Smith Electric Company, small company, but they've been around a long time. I mean, I can't remember a time when they weren't there. There's another building that's been there forever. More than likely has gone through many different incarnations as a business, but it is a building with a lot of character. And still going. Anyway, I talked about my books and my painting, and still going. Enjoying this beautiful sunny day. Mobile is a beautiful city, by the way. I've got mixed feelings about Mobile in most ways, and there's a sign that I pass a lot. Being a flagger, I put up a lot of those signs. Before it was over, I became a traffic control supervisor. And I have to confess, I never did work at that capacity. I did have a certificate and worked as a traffic control supervisor assistant and got paid as a traffic control supervisor, but never worked at that capacity. And believe me, those guys have a job And believe me, they're not overpaid. They can't pay those guys enough. What I did was assist them, and I got pretty well for assisting them, you know. So remember that when you see these guys on the highway doing their thing, they're putting up with a lot, you know. And of course, they're human beings. You might have had some bad memories of times on the road where they just irritated the hell out of you. But remember, they have a very dangerous job, and they got to deal with some very not so friendly people. You do not want to stop. Even after you explain to them that you got equipment moving in the road, equipment that could run over them in their car and not even know they hit anything. It gets rough. And one of these days I might just do a presentation on that in itself, but I'll just touch in on it right now and say that I'm very proud of my experience as a traffic control supervisor. I learned a lot. I got a lot accomplished in my artwork. Met some beautiful people. Oh goodness. Met some artists, some hippie people. Hippie people are very enduring, by the way. We don't hear much about them anymore, but we're still around. And had to endure a lot through the decades. And thankfully, we had our focuses like the music, which is still unsurpassed as far as I'm concerned. Of course, there's a lot of arguments on that. But psychedelic music, hippie music, love generation music is some of the best music that's ever really been played. It was pioneer music in that it was a renaissance of sorts where they were using electronic equipment to make this classic music. Some of the bands that you've heard of, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, who were originally debuted as Buffalo Springfield. And by the way, David Crosby was not part of Buffalo Springfield, but he did fill in a lot for one of the members, so he was always there. Stephen Stills and Neil Young were a big part of that band. And later on, they were introduced to Graham Nash. And there's conflicting stories about how they got together, so I won't even get into that, but they were introduced to Graham Nash and decided to form a band. And they couldn't think of a name, so it became Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. And of course, Neil Young, being the ambitious person that he is, ventured off into other bands like Crazy Horse and other things, and Crosby, Stills, and Nash endured. That's all history. And there's, of course, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, the Grateful Dead. I'd like to make a shout out to the Grateful Dead. I was finally able to see them live a few years ago in Orlando, which is a show called An Evening with the Dead, or some Dead and Company. Yeah, there you go. With John Mayer playing the part for playing in Jerry Garcia's place, and did a magnificent job. Great music. I got to you know, I got to see them do some fantastic stuff, and I'll never forget it. Of course, I think I mentioned Janis Joplin already, who is still deep in my heart, and Jimi Hendrix. All these people mean a lot to me, because I'm an old fart, actually, for the most part. Very sentimental old fart, and love music. Not that the newer music isn't inspirational too. Later on I listened to REM, U2, Nirvana, and all these bands are history too. Some of them are still around, but to me they're still later bands, because the bands that inspired me were the ones I previously mentioned. I still hear music and new songs that touches my heart. It's not like I'm an old fogey and can't enjoy new music, because I'd be lying if I did say that. A name escapes me right now. A woman singer really touched me. And I think she has a fantastic voice. Being the old fart that I am, I can't think of her name, and I apologize for that. But yeah, some of the new music that I hear is very touching, very heartwarming, and it will become someone's focal point when they become my age. They'll look back and say, wow, you know, what a time that was. This here is a part of the Dog River Watershed. And a lot of people might look at that and think it's just a ditch. But no, it's a natural water system. It's the Dog River Watershed. Dog River is in this direction. And it really is a river, and it really is beautiful. A lot of history over there. Still on the Hollis Mill Road. And will be for most of this. Now, over here, I used to walk this area when I was a teenager, in my early 20s. There was something here, and I can't remember what it was. But as you see, it's a vacant lot now. Whatever business that was there is totally history. But like I said, Mobile is a beautiful place for scenery. Got a lot of history here. There's a lot of things I don't like about it, and I won't touch in on them because I think maybe you've heard the news about this place. Got some bad reps. But all in all, it's subtropical. Got beautiful trees, got beautiful wildlife, got alligators, hawks, raccoons, snakes. I got water moccasins, rattlesnakes, all kinds of stuff. I've seen a lot of these too. Growing up, I got to see all kinds of snakes. You see hawks from time to time. We got palm trees. Got the white oak and another type of oak that I can't remember the name of. Here you go. You got magnolias, azaleas, all these natural flora that we have here. Gorgeous. This is a gorgeous area. It's also an illusion because we're right on the edge of an industrialized part, which you may see if I don't run out of battery or something else happens. Anyhow, Still on Halls Mill Road. And I'm past the halfway point, by the way. The halfway point was the Dog River Watershed. And soon I'll be going past the 3/4 mark and then to my destination, and then headed back home, which I won't record that because that's just like going back over what I just went over. Anyway, this is a lot of my walk. This is not my big walk. This is just my standard walk. My big walks are much longer. When I really get ambitious, I go out and I put in 6 miles one way and 6 miles the other way, and of course that takes up my day. But at 67, I'm happy that I'm still able to do that when I get the gumption to do it. More trees and stuff. And I may sign it off up here because the traffic noise up here gets really horrific. Not like the scenic area you just saw. A lot of cars, and they don't enforce the muffler laws here, so there's a lot of people driving around with loud mufflers. They think it's really cool, actually. Yeah, really annoying. Can't really talk until they're out of the area because they drown everything out. It's incredible. But anyway, you know that because that probably goes on in where you live too. Anyway, there's more trees. Actually, I'm going to cut it off here because beyond this clump of trees is the industrial section, and it's not very interesting as far as I'm concerned. Just part of my walk. And I've enjoyed this talk. If you've enjoyed it, thank you. You got the comments below. Let me know whether I need to change anything, add to it, or, you know, expand on things. Just let me know. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.